Hi, my name is Scott Laurie. I'm a researcher at the Carnegie Institution for Science at Stanford, and I study the impacts of land use change and climate change on plants and animals. We're on the top of Mount Diablo Mountain, which is a mountain that sticks up in the sea of sort of a very suburban landscape around the San Francisco Bay Area. And this is a cool mountaintop we're on right now. And this little plant right here, this jewel flower, is endemic to Mount Diablo. It's found nowhere else in the world. And this is a plant that could very easily disappear. A hot year might make it so this plant doesn't come up, and then it might be very hard for new plants to come in because this area is very isolated, being on the top of a mountain, being surrounded by land use. Traditionally, the way that scientists would sort of keep track of these little endemic rare populations like this would be to send out museums, send out grad students to try to see where these plants and animals are persisting and where they're going extinct. But with land use change and climate change, these changes are happening 1,000 times faster than they ever have in the past. And it's just, the challenge is too great of a task for us to keep track of. So what we're very interested in doing is something called citizen science, which is if we can harness the energy and the enthusiasm of amateur naturalists from around the world, this will give us a huge new tool to keep track of where these very rare plants and animals like this jewel flower are. In particular, we're using a service called iNaturalist, which is available on the internet at inaturalist.org. We also have an iPhone app. So if I wanted to, I could go up to this jewel flower, and I can add an observation. I'm just gonna take a picture of it. And it might be that I don't even know what this plant is. I just think it's an interesting flower that I want to learn more about. And by posting it to the internet, it's available on the internet for other people to share and also for scientists to have access to. And the amount of data that we could potentially get just by harnessing the energy and the enthusiasm of naturalists around the world to really try to tackle this problem of land use change and climate change impacts on biodiversity is a very exciting new frontier for science and conservation. One of the things I think is so compelling about projects like iNaturalist is that we're using these technologies, social networking, iPhone apps, all these things that are cutting us off from the natural world and keeping us indoors and sort of narrowing our focus, but we're using those to get back out in nature and engaged with nature. And I think that's neat if we can, to the extent that we can use these new technologies to get people just back out enjoying the outdoors and tuning in with the world around them. I think that's a great thing.